After reading Dr. Stone Chapter 2, I can actually proudly say that this series does have a lot of potential to have some crazy things happen. However, because of how unique and weird Dr. Stone is, I have a very bad feeling about this series, and hear me out. When it comes to Weekly Shonen Jump, sometimes series that try to stand out or be weird or different and be completely unique you don't see often, usually those series, they tend to get axed because it's just too weird for the normal readers of Weekly Shonen Jump. So I'm kind of worried that this series, because of how unique it is, it's going to get axed. Even though it's a good series so far. Yes, as I said, there is some problems, like the characters overall. They're not the best characters yet. They're very flat, which that can be corrected with character development stuff in the future. However, the plot and what the series is about, in general, just the setting and everything, very interesting and unique, and I'm just so worried because of how different it is that not many fans in Japan are probably going to, look at this series and enjoy it, and they're probably just going to look over it and go to something else, which I'm very scared about, because this is really good so far. I'm really loving this series. As I said, there is problems, but I'm really enjoying it and having fun actually reading the chapters that come out each week, and I really, 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 really hope that this series does well in Japan. I really hope, because there's a lot of potential here for something very, very good, and I just hope it is not wasted, because this right here, if this series fails, it's a perfect example that unique things usually cannot survive in Weekly Shonen Jump. But regardless of that, though, this chapter really progresses the plot in a direction I was like, whoa. So apparently, there is a way to actually unpetrify people, break the stone that's encasing a lot of different people, and we see to where at the end of the chapter, we're getting ready for the actual main female character, which was about to be confessed to in chapter 1, to be set free, and she's able to, move around. That's what's about to happen, and the cover page of this chapter kind of reveals that she's going to be breaking out of the stone, because you see our two main male characters, and then you see our main female character with, the stone breaking off of her body, so most likely everything is going to be fine on that end. She's gonna be able to be set free. But overall, though, I feel like there's going to be a lot more complications here, because we got to factor in a couple of things from what we know so far with the first chapter, and then now with this chapter. We can confirm that it is possible to save someone, save a being from the stone. For instance, get them out. We saw the bird. There was an experiment on the bird. The stone around the bird was broken down, and then the bird was able to fly once again. And if I had to assume anything, the bird obviously didn't have the willpower to keep itself conscious for all of those thousands of years and keep itself alive, like, what we saw with our two main male characters. So there is a potential possibility that even if you lost consciousness and your, consciousness faded and you went to sleep, you could still be, resurrected or brought back. However, I feel like there's going to be complications to this, because there's just no way the actual writer of the series would focus in on that and then allow regular characters that weren't able to stay awake to be able to, break free. It just doesn't make much sense to me. So I feel like that's going to be a big issue later on down the road. And I feel like there's going to be other complications to where maybe some people just cannot come back. Like, some people are just dead as fuck and they weren't able to survive. I mean, that is a very likely possibility too. You also got to remember that they were encased in stone, and there's also a possibility maybe the body got fucked up when it was encased, after all those years, with them, floating down a river, or going down a mountain, or whatever, with just time passing, their body probably got destroyed or something, and so that's also a potential possibility with why some people might not be able to come back. Regardless, though, as I already said with my first impressions of Dr. Stone, I feel like the psychological genre is going to be a big part of this series, because there's definitely going to be some crazy characters. There's just no way you're going to have characters imprisoned in stone for thousands of years and not go crazy. I mean, our two main characters, they're an exception. They just had insane willpower to be able to keep themselves wide awake for that long. But that's probably not going to happen with every single character in the series that eventually gets, depetrified. So there's probably going to be some crazy characters. A lot of crazy characters that are just going to lose their mind. They're going to be probably awake for all those years with willpower, but they're just going to go fucking crazy. They're going to be insane. And when they break out, they're going to be dangerous to be let free at all because of how crazy they are. And I feel like the way this is going, I feel like the main female character, she's going to be different. She's not going to be what she once was. I don't think she's going to be that bubbly girl we saw in the first chapter of Dr. Stone. I feel like she's going to be more of a yandere or something, or just crazy in general. We'll see where that goes, but I really am certain something like that is going to happen. Now, besides that, though, let's factor in the actual goal right now. The goal is to repopulate humanity, and obviously they can't do that with two dudes. That's just, it's not possible. It really isn't. And because it's just them two, they need to find, women to, depetrify, and they need to, get them out. And so that leads us to the main female character at the end of the chapter, and then they need to start, unpetrifying a lot more people before they can actually repopulate humanity. And the big thing that pops up here is how many people should you unpetrify? But on top of that, who gets unpetrified and who doesn't? That is going to be something that's probably going to lead to a lot of debates in the future of the series, when, characters, the series manages to survive, 10 plus chapters, then we'll probably get into this. But if the series somehow manages to survive and it doesn't get axed, there's going to be a point in the manga series to where there's going to be characters probably at a council meeting or something. They're going to be talking okay, so should we set this person free? Should we break this person out of the stone, or should we break this person out of the stone? They'll be weighing their options of, who should be the one to be free and who should not. And this is probably going to cause a lot of drama between a lot of characters. Maybe one character wants to go, find their sister or whatever and, unpetrify them, while this other person's no, we can't do that. We got to save our resources to unpetrify this dude that's a scientist. And that's probably going to lead to a lot of drama in the future of the series, figuring out who they need to free and who they cannot. And on top of that, if they do free someone, there is also a potential possibility that they might already be dead, or they're crazy in general, so that's already GG right then and there. But then, going even further, a step further than that, we do know the process of, unpetrifying someone. Also, there is things that could go wrong. We saw that the, process of it, some things could happen to where you would have to restart the process all over again, and that would mean that would take even more time to do. So because of this, it will take a long time to get a decent group together. And you can't just get a lot of people at once either, because if you did, it's going to make the situation even worse. You got to remember about food, you got to remember about, where you live at, just, shelter in general. You have to have each individual person have a job, and then some people getting unpetrified, they're not going to want to work at all. They're probably not going to want to do shit. They're probably just going to be what the fuck and all that, why'd you do that? I'd rather be stoned. Some people just will be straight up assholes and not want to help at all. And so you got to also factor this in, that they need to be able to get a group together that's willing to survive and then work towards one common goal and then rebuild society. So there's a lot of potential here and a lot of plots that, the actual story can go, and I'm really excited for it. But as I said, I'm really worried that the manga is going to get axed because of how unique it is. We'll see where it goes. But overall, very good second chapter. I'm looking forward to the third chapter, and hopefully very soon, once, we have the main female character introduced, back into the series, hopefully we get some characterization / development with these characters, because as I already said, the biggest flaw to this series right now is the characters, because I'm not the biggest fan of our two main male characters. I love the artwork, I love the world, I love the setting and everything that we got going on here. Just the biggest weakness right now is the characters. So if the characters get some good development / characterization very soon, it's going to be solid. So we'll see where it goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.